Thousands of runners will be hitting the streets of Austin for the 20th anniversary Live Strong Austin Marathon and Half Marathon. Seton Family of Hospitals is proud to be the medical sponsor once again this year. This morning to talk about what they'll be preparing for is Dr. Pierre Filardi, who's the medical director of the Live Strong Austin Marathon. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Nice to be here.
Well, it's good to see you. Talk about the medical staff that will be on hand to assist the runners.
Well, through the years, we've built a great volunteer team with Seton support, and it's grown to over 200 individuals between the race course and in the medical tent at the finish line. The team consists of doctors, nurses, physical therapists, massage therapists, and a lot of non-medical volunteers.
Oh, that's good to know for all the runners that will be out there. Will you guys be at every mile mark, or how far are you guys spacing?
They're at every mile marker and at the finish line.
Good. Well, talk about some of the symptoms that runners run into, or how they're injured sometimes during these races.
Well, I sort of like to think of it as two types of symptoms. One is just the symptoms of running and going through the stress of a marathon, and there's a lot of aches and pains and sprains and cramps that will occur. And then what we typically see or want to see are the things that are more of a medical nature, which would be, for example, people that become confused or collapse or have chest pain or feel unusual shortness of breath or excessive fatigue, or just anything that doesn't seem quite right for what they've experienced in their training. So something that kind of moves into medical rather than just the usual wear and tear of the marathon.
Right. Now, there'll be thousands of runners out there. How will you guys anticipate, or how can you recognize the people that are maybe not doing so well during the race?
Well, the runners help each other, and then the people will sometimes stop at our periodic stations, and they'll check people and refer them down to the tent. Anything out of the ordinary is what we're looking for, and I encourage the runners to look out for each other. Some of the things that are more of concern frequently involve people getting a little fuzzy mentally, so they may be the last to notice as the one runner who we need to see.
Right. That's a long way to run. When I ran the marathon, I had a running buddy, and she suffered from shin splints. How can what can you do to, what will you guys do to recognize that and to help people?
Well, out on the course, the runners are welcome to stop at any of our stations, and they'll render what first aid they can. Most athletes are pretty adept through their training. They know what to do, how to work through the problems that may occur.
Right.
I think the runners, if they're taking on a big day out there, and they need to be prepared to slow the pace or stop and walk a little, do a little self-massage, and just whatever it takes to get through the race.
Well, and at the finish line, you guys will be there in the tent. Talk about what people can expect at the finish line, too.
At the finish line, the medical tent is conveniently located there, and we're prepared to deal with sort of things, as I say, of a medical nature, functioning as like a miniature urgent care center. We particularly would like to see anyone who just has a collapse, other than just I'm tired.
Right.
People who don't look right mentally or seem fuzzy, or anyone who's having chest pain or shortness of breath, or seems to be having anything unusual that could represent something other than your standard being pretty worn out from running a marathon.
Well, we thank you so much for being here. Look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. The marathon is on February 20th. For more information and some of the roads to avoid, you can go to youraustinmarathon.com. Thank you.